Welcome everyone to our November QVM monthly marketing series. Peter Topping, our regular presenter on this series, is talking us through what we could and should be doing and looking at leading up to the Christmas shopping season. We as customers shop in different ways with differing shopping habits. For example, my daughter-in-law's mother starts her shopping on Boxing Day and looks for specials throughout the year. So she's really organised. However, on the other hand, the busier we get, the more likely the mad rush is on in the last few weeks. And if you're anything like me these days, I'd probably leave it until the last few days. So everyone shops differently. We also like to look at reviews online and do some research online first, and then we'll make a decision. And on the other hand, I like last year we ended up having a girls' day out where we decided to all go together and do our shopping. So that was a good fun day out. But again, the most common thing these days is leaving it until at least probably the last month is the busiest time. So that's how I shop and my friends shop, but you might shop differently. And so Peter, we're going to hand it over to you and see what your thoughts are over this coming next month or so that where we're leading up to Christmas.
Thank you, Madalen, and thanks for the opportunity again to present. I actually like Christmas marketing, and it does fill people full of fear and anxiety, and that is the basis of Christmas. Shopping is either recreation or obligation. It's either fun or incredibly anxiety-provoking, and a lot of traders feel the same way about Christmas marketing. So it just depends on what kind of person you are and how how many resources you've got and how busy you are as to when and when you do it. But the good news is it's never too late to start with Christmas marketing. Now today I've got a lot of slides. There's a huge amount of text, and I'm not going to say everything that's on every slide. So I'm going to talk through the processes and principles quickly because we have a limited amount of time. But I've put all the text in there so you can download a copy if you're interested, and you can work through it in a little bit more detail. So I started talking about Christmas back in July, and people thought I was insane, but Christmas generally starts in September for lots of people involved in retail. Obviously in Victoria we have this weird thing where we have football grand final, school holidays and Melbourne Cup, so we have a two-part Christmas. But Christmas is definitely on. It's only about 8 weeks to go, and if you haven't started your Christmas marketing, now is the time to start. So it's basically common sense. We all know the basics, just like sales and customer services and your manners and sitting up straight. We all benefit from a reminder, right? We all have things that we're good at and things that we're not good at, and my advice is always to do what you find easiest first, and that it's never too late to start, right? The difference, I guess, between now and previously is there's an in-person effort, offline, and there's also an online effort. And you need to probably put a bit of resourcing and balance between the two. And especially since people have spent time and money and resources in the last few years developing a website. Don't let it disappear because there's a lot of foot traffic around. It means you've got a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week extra outlet, and the incremental sales can really be the difference between a good Christmas and a great Christmas. So if you've got one, a website or social media, do milk it and do put a bit of work into it this year. So I always start with what QVM has been up to, as obviously QVM are the key sponsors, they're the key stakeholders, and personally I think that they do quite a reasonable job of trying to help people out online. They've got an audience of about 500,000 this year at the last count, and that's 500,000 people in a city of 4 million. That's pretty good. PR, newsletter and social media are the focus in 2022. They've got a gift guide out there which they're hoping will give some big returns based on the numbers that they've got and the number of online connections they've developed over COVID, but we'll wait and see what happens. There was an expression of interest for the Christmas gift guide that has now changed. If you didn't do it, just put it in your diary for next year. Just give yourself a reminder in September that it's worth considering the Christmas gift guide. They've got 130,000 subscribers to the newsletter who'll get it, 200,000 followers, and it gets a letterbox drops in inner Melbourne of 160,000. So it's going out, like I said, there's 500,000 eyeballs that are there. And in the meantime, even though it's closed, there are opportunities for separate promotions that will help you reach some of those 500,000 people. So if I offered you access to 500,000 people for free instead of paying Google, you'd probably take it, but it is actually there if you can get in. So if you haven't done it this year, what I'd really encourage you to do is put a note down and get yourself organised for next year, because it'll be bigger and it's a great opportunity. So other things that are still going on in the Trader Bulletin, obviously we've got Melbourne Fringe, and that's drawing a different and unique group of visitors to the market, and hopefully we'll pick up some regulars from that. Craft work is continuing up in the Sheds R&L, and that seems to be getting quite good foot traffic. So there are other events that are on, and other events that you can post about and download the pictures and use in your social media campaigns if you're looking for content. Dizzy Deals. It's worked for quite a few traders. Other people haven't tried it. Some people, have said, oh, I'm not really too sure about it. But the general feedback is, for lots of people, is they've been quite effective. There's not that many Dizzy Deals posted each week, so you've got a good chance of achieving quite a lot of profile. You're not going to be one of hundreds of people. You're going to be one of a small group of people. So that's continuing, and I'd ask you to, consider it as a strategy, and it might be a very effective way post-Christmas to get rid of some stock. So think about it for your post-Christmas period if you're not going to do it before Christmas, and think about getting rid of some inventory. The Europa night market's on, and obviously that's will go on until the 15th of March, and the night market earlier this year was very, very successful.
No, sorry, Peter, just the Europa night market's finished.
Oh, sorry,
and then you've got the summer night market starting up in November through till March.
My apologies, because I have got the wrong graphic up there in the right-hand side.
Yeah, but that's relating to Europa anyway. So.
Yeah. So it's the summer night market. We've had Europa, we've had the normal night market over winter, and now we've got the summer night market coming up. But basically, we've got a good demographic of people in the city workers, and in particular young people. So if you've got an offering, go for it. So in terms of Christmas marketing, the main thing that you can do, which is free, is get your mindset right. There's about 8 weeks to go. You do need to pace yourself in the run up to Christmas. And that's important from a sort of health and maintenance point of view. It'll get busier and busier as your own life gets busy and your work life gets busy. You do need to brace yourself for that customer. The range of behaviours is part of the Christmas deal. We see it every year. But the research shows that actually thinking about the good people and remembering the good people at the end of the day and the positive interactions does actually help to build individual resilience. So you will get some squeaky wheels, but don't listen to them, right? There's focus on the good interactions that you have, and that will help you with your well-being. A lot of people feel overwhelmed, and my advice is don't overthink it. You've all done Christmas before. You know roughly what to do, and the easiest thing to do is just something and start with the low-hanging fruit. If you can't think of anything, recycle some past successes or just make something up. No one knows if your Christmas tradition started in 2022, right? They've got to start somewhere. So if you want to do something different this year, give it a go. The main thing is that you actually do something. But the attitude is something that you can do for free. One of the other things just to talk about quickly, which is kind of in the press a little bit at the moment, is that not everyone celebrates Christmas, and we're good with that. And those people who don't celebrate Christmas, well, that's their decision. You might want to remind your staff, especially if you've got some new international students or people who haven't worked in the market before, You can easily identify people by dress code who might not celebrate Christmas. And if you think they might not celebrate Christmas, go for season's greetings, compliments of the season, or enjoy the Christmas break as your, sort of greeting or handle or signature or sign off, right? Because they're pretty secular kind of ways to go. They're just 2 or 3 statements to have in the bag if you're not sure. If you make a mistake, there is nothing you can do except say sorry. Don't get into a dispute. Just back away from it. It's accidental. You're never going to pick it, and it happens to everyone. So don't sweat it is basically the advice, right? You've done your best. As long as you did your best, that's all you can do. So not everyone celebrates Christmas, but most people, even if they don't celebrate Christmas, still enjoy the holiday and getting into the whole season. So when the customers talk about Christmas, they talk about how does it feel, right? In their retail experience, how does it feel? How does it look, right? And then all the other things it come into the decision-making process about buying things, right? Your attitude is free. You're 90% in control of it, and it does have a big impact on the customer. In terms of how does it look, there's 2 parts to that. There's the stall and there's yourself, right? And choosing what you wear to work is free, and buying a Santa hat from $2 is probably the entry point in which you can start to think about how does it look and how does it feel.
And it does make you feel good when you're shopping and you see them all dressed up, or they've got a hat on or tinsel on. You tend to, it puts a smile on your face. So it's a good attitude to have.
Yeah, a tinsel wristband costs you almost nothing. It's about that much tinsel. It's about 20 cents worth. Snip it off with some scissors. There's a Christmas color palette. Okay, the color palette is free. No one owns it. It's red, white, and green. It's green, gold, and silver. It's red, gold, and silver. And as I've said in the slide, lots of people with an Asian client like to go heavy on the red because it's a celebratory color. It goes down well with quite a few of the Asian clients, and it blends well with the gold and silver. And if you've got fresh fruit and produce, the green, gold, and silver is a summer feel, and it also looks good with natural products. And when I mean natural products, I don't just mean fresh fruit and veg, also things like leather, chopping boards, wooden products, etc., because it's got more of an organic kind of feel. So it's free to use a color scheme, and try and think about where you can get it into your clothing, your signage, your messaging, your product presentation, and even if that means writing all your signs on red card with a silver sparkly pen from Officeworks that's a glitter pen is going to cost you $3.50 to $5. Right? There are plenty of entry-level things that you can do. You can combine that with the clothes that you wear, and you can combine that in December with a Santa hat or a tinsel wristband and things like that. So again, it's just the tiny things that you can do, and all the research shows that it works at a subconscious level with the clients as well as at a subconscious level with the client. If you want to spend money, you can go for a uniform. Otherwise, go for a dress code, as we've just talked about. They don't have to be complicated, and if you use it as a marketing strategy, they're partially tax deductible. Okay. Again, Christmas colors are pretty simple. We've talked about that. You can go t-shirts, you can go aprons, polos, fleeces, caps, Santa hats, anything that you like that you want to do on that kind of basis will depend entirely on your budget, right? And they're generally not great quality, and they're generally one season only, so you're buying them to throw away, and or to recycle preferably. So, and especially if you're doing it as a tax deduction, you need to keep a pretty tight set of records, and you do need to focus it on the activity. Christmas is meant to be fun, but shopping is not, right? A lot of people find it stressful. They're doing it because they have to, and it helps if you say you're on board, right? It's all part of those little small percenters. Have you done something to Christmas theme it? Do you look like you're on board for Christmas? And how's your mindset? Those are the key things. Because a lot of other people are bound to have your product. There's very few people with a unique offering out there. So you may as well make those 1 or 2% moves you can do towards snaffling the sale and having the revenue in your business. Apart from color, as a human being, we like movement and we like a smile, right? So if you're going to decorate your stall, not everyone has power, but you can get solar lights now and small battery powered lights. I like them because there's no 240 mains connection, there's no cable kicking around to trip over, and just remember that white shows up better during daylight than the colors, which are LED, which sometimes are a little bit weak. If you've got a programmable sign or one of those ones with the little letters on that you can flick around, get it up and get your Christmas theme happening. If you like to shout, everyone loves a noise in the market, especially in the fruit and veg section, in the meat and dairy. Update your Christmas patter to 2022 and make sure that it's appropriate for the times, and roll it out with your playlists. Now, there are rules about playlists, which is you can't broadcast without a license and all that kind of stuff. So just be a little bit careful about what you're playing. If you're playing something on your stall through your iPhone, it's one of your own playlists, it's probably okay. But if you've got a physical store and you're playing it in store, then there are rules about music. So you can cover those another time, or you can ask Madalen or me what those actual rules are if you're interested, but be aware there are some. Okay, so as offline and online have come together, people are beginning to realize that there are no real specialists. All of the same rules generally apply, apart from some technical expertise. And in 2022, I think a lot of that marketing effort has really come together, where people realize whatever you do online, you need to do offline, a version of. So when we think about marketing, the thing to think about is that generally we're solving a problem, and it's either a problem for the business or a problem for the customer. And the problem for the business is usually, how do I make more money? How do I clear my stock? How do I increase my transaction value? How do I get a better share of wallet? How do I make more yield and things like that? And the problem for the customer is, where do I buy it? When do I buy it? How do I buy it? How do I do it painlessly? And how do I find it, right? And those are all questions that we can answer, pretty simply, as a kind of tick sheet. The advantage that we've got is that Christmas is on a fixed date, and we love that in marketing, because we can create either a sense of urgency, a sense of achievement if you've got it in early, a sense of reward if you've done it, or a sense of anxiety. Now, if you think back to your high school assignments, you'll know what kind of person you are. Are you an anxious last minute, oh my God, fear factor person who gets it all done? Or are you a kind of person who likes to get it done in advance, organized, and you feel that sense of achievement and reward by getting it done early? So marketers are exactly the same, and so are our customers. Because it's at a fixed date, we can create a sense of urgency slowly. We can do it as a service. 8 weeks to go, here's the shopping hours, here's the dates, here's our wish lists, and then we can do it as a deadline. And we can say, oh my God, if you haven't got it done, now's the time to start worrying. So it works for us really, really well as marketers. When you're driving home in the car tonight, you're on the tram, or you're watching TV, have a listen to the Christmas ads. They're based on a countdown, they're based on a deadline, they're based on a problem solution marketing idea, or they're based on some kind of value add, right? There isn't really many clever Christmas ideas, okay? So you can unpick them, and it'll be good for you, because it helps to give you some ideas about what you're doing on your own, especially if you just this year put a foot into Google Ads, or you've put a foot into other kind of marketing activities. So we've got 8 weeks, 7 weeks, 4 weekends, 3 months, 14 days, 10 days. The number of days, weeks, hours, combinations that you can market under, that you can put out there on social media, that you can put up on your signs, that you can put your Google Ads on, is infinitesimal, right? And it can always be in date, right? When you've got a countdown or a deadline, scarcity is the other factor that drives people. There's not many of these, they're nearly sold out. And if you're looking at physically in a store, one of the strategies you can use is a blank space for something that's sold out. And you leave the blank space there and saying sold out, right? And that tells people that things are in demand, and that they need to make a decision. It helps to prompt them with, shall I go and look at something else? Shall I come back later? Shall I do it next week? If things are already sold out, that helps to communicate a sense of urgency. The other thing about scarcity is prestige. If there's a limited amount, and people know there's a limited amount, they want to get one. right? The first adopters, the people who shop on prestige, they like that, right? So scarcity is one of our friends. Okay, generally we start out nice, as I said, and then we get more and more assertive as things go on. So we start out with service reminders, order dates, last delivery dates, click and collect dates, and then we build the sense of urgency, just 10 days, orders close, and last days is the Christmas killer. And that allows us in our marketing campaigns to not just go the hard sell all the time on products, right? We can sit down and say there's 12 weeks to go to Christmas. This week we're going to put up our order dates. Next week we're going to put up our trading hours. The week after we're going to put up the click and collect news. And then the week after that we're going to put up what to do for last minutes. And in between times we're going to put up collections, gift ideas for mum, gift ideas for dads, gift ideas for tweens, or, you know, Christmas platters, or, you know, turkey stuffing ideas, or cold meats for Christmas, or seafood ideas and things like that. We can do those product sales in between. So we're not just hard selling the whole time. We're mixing that up with other kinds of messagings. The studies and research shows that if you've got a deadline, you've got scarcity, it works, and you're selling products if you soften the sale by giving away an inclusion or a discount or a wrapping service or a free postage or something like that. That helps people view you a little bit better. It also helps them to clinch the decision, and it also helps to soften the sale a little bit. So a lot of people who don't, especially if you've got a mono-dimensional product or you don't have a great product range, they don't just want to be saying ugly, right? Or avocados, avocados, avocados. There are different ways to organize your social media, your marketing campaigns, and your EDMs. There's lots and lots of content out there, and there's lots of different ways to assemble your content and present it in different ways, based on dates, based on times, based on trading, based on inclusions, based on groups of products put together, and additional services. So Christmas marketing is both simple and a little bit complicated. The main thing to do is try and keep it simple, right? We're trying to reward the early buyer, and we're trying to save the late buyer from internally destructing and suffering from too much anxiety. We're rewarding status buyers, and we're also trying to provide people with ready-made solutions, yeah, pre-configured gift ideas. And we like pre-configured gift ideas because it's a bigger spend, it's a larger amount of inventory, and even if it's not a higher yield, it's generally a higher actual dollar margin. So gift ideas and pre-configured solutions and groups are good. Okay. So when we're trying to look at our ideas, human beings love a list, okay? And there's lots of different ways to frame lists. And last year we talked a lot about gift ideas, because gift ideas around Christmas was the ones that Google Insights were showing us were really, really working. And so we can break that down by gender, we can break that down by family status, we can break that down by a whole range of things, right? And build campaigns around key search terms and put meta tags in and, you know, really help ourselves online, right? But if you're on social media, you can also list your favorites, right? And staff ideas. So there are other ways to present the same content, and a staff favorite is a kind of recommendation, and it's it carries extra weight, right? Or you can say customer favorites or hottest sellers. They are recommendations that people will read and give extra substance to, rather than other kinds of ideas, because other people or the experts have had a look at them. They seem to have inside knowledge. The key thing about putting work into your marketing is to really, really use your ideas across all of your social media and electronic accounts, and in-store wherever possible. So if you're going to post your trading dates, make a little graphic and put it up on Insta, then put it up on Facebook, then include it in any emails that you're going to send out, right? Make a little printout of it, stick it up on your store. It's just a bit of soft marketing that you can help people around decision making. Again, posting shipping prices, dates and collections, it's got a soft call to action. Obviously, the fashion this year seems to be wrapping and postage. Just make sure you're not giving too much away, okay? If you want to create other kinds of content, the ones that were really successful over the last 24 months are how-tos, right? And they can be in videos, they can be in images, and they can be in infographics. They work really well at Christmas. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about your particular product. You can talk about how to store cherries. You can talk about how to buy light cheese. You can talk about how to wrap a present, right? Just go and find some free graphic off the internet on how do you wrap a present, or how do you wrap a ball, or something like that. It's just content.
One of the other things you can do with that as well is you can embed, find a YouTube video that shows you how to wrap. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
Embed that or link to that in your post.
Yeah, unless you're really good at it, don't try and make a video. No. Just go out and find one, right? And this is about recycling content. Anything you've got from before that was last year's or the year before, make it good, make it fresh, and see if it can be dusted off for this year, right? We don't have a new recipe every year for stuffing or for making a plum pudding. We change it every now and again, right? It's the same with Christmas marketing. A lot of it is the same, but with a slightly fresher twist. Like, you know, every year there's a different spice that's more fashionable. It was pimento last year, you know, smoked paprika. It was just in everything. So it was just a little tweak on a traditional recipe. The other thing I wanted to talk about was refunds, returns, and exchanges information. Publishing those in the lead up to Christmas helps people to build trust in your brand, especially online, and especially in store if it's really, really clearly laid out, right? It doesn't have to be really aggressive, and it doesn't have to be finger waving. It can be used as an important source of information to help the client make the decision about buying something that they're not sure about, okay? It's also a really good thing to communicate about after Christmas, okay? Because you want a client to come back, and the easiest way to make a client come back is for them to have a good experience. And if you have to accept returns and refunds, because that is and exchanges often, because that is the law in Victoria, so you may as well do it well, right? The client, the law is on the side of the client, and if the client wants to push it, generally you have to do a refund or a return and exchange. So you may as well get them to return it to you in the manner and the process that suits you best. So it is a negative for traders, but it doesn't have to be as negative as people in the way that it's currently handled. We did a whole session on emails, so I'm going to repeat some stuff about emails. Emails work, right? They're particularly effective on past customers and people who've signed up to an email list because they already trust the brand. They already know they can get a good product from you. And sometimes all they need is a reminder that you're there, okay? Graphics work well in emails. Just make sure that they're not too big. Minify them. Everyone loves an Xmas theme in an email, and that can just be the colors, right? The key to getting a Christmas email through a spam blocker is generally the title. Don't have a chunky image in there, and make sure the title is good. So if you say sale, sale, discount, 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 save now, more, 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 the chances are you're going to get blocked. If you go with gift ideas, closing dates, trading hours, offers of help, postage offers, wish lists, they tend to have a better chance of getting through, right? Recommendations get through, or anything that's not a hard sale will probably, or a don't miss out, will probably get through their spam filters much more effectively than something which is save now. So if you look in your own spam and see what's in there, and then try not to do that. The other thing is that if you've got a good email message, think about tweaking that. Don't just cut and paste it into your social medias. It usually needs a little bit of tweaking. Where social media does work really more effectively over EDMs is within destination marketing. So to drive people either to your store, come and see us, call us, send us an email, inquire, solve a problem, right? Or to get people to go to your website. If you haven't got time to see us, come to the website, have a quick look, right? So there's a slight difference between the social media message and the Facebook message. Again, I've come back to the issue of refunds or returns. Helps you to build build a bit of trust in that Christmas period. The other thing that builds trust is to send out and share reviews and bestseller lists. You know, what's selling really well now. People want to know what other people are buying. Right? We all do. We all like to fit in, unless we're the type of person who likes to be special and unique and stand out above the pack. Okay. Online, I'm just going to talk about online specifically. You spent time investing in online, so don't neglect it, right? In store, we're going to decorate and wear a uniform. Online, we're going to create Christmas landing pages. The Christmas landing page works, okay? If you can't do that, then I want you to Christmasify your home pages in the same way that you Christmasify your social media pages and your email send-outs, right? Just let people know that you know it's Christmas and that you've made an effort for Christmas. The simplest thing that lots of companies do is they have a version of their logo, and I saw one in the top corner here of SBMS logo with a Santa hat on. It's a really, really easy thing to do. If you don't do your own web tools or you don't manage your own website, they should not charge you more than 15 minutes to do a little logo on your website of tinsel or a Santa hat, right? It just lets people know on their receipts, it lets people know when they land on the site that you are also thinking about Christmas and you understand their Christmas mindset. If your website's got a hero image or a carousel, put some Christmas information in there. If you've got 6 images that go through the products and offering, it's worth making the first one a Christmas image, right? Just let people know that you're on board with them. You can reuse those hero images in your social media posts. Graphics always work. Okay, you can reuse them in the footers of your EDMs. So it's worth spending some time getting a good set of good messages across. And you might want to pre-design those messages again with things that I've talked about, with your dates, with your postage offer, with a wrapping offer, with this many weeks to go, with some of your reviews and recommendations. You know, just so you can mix it up in those kind of Christmas images. The other thing that works is staff and store images with a Christmas touch. People want to see real people, okay, and they're quite difficult to do professionally, but the whole point of them is don't make them too professional. They work best when they're genuine, and they work best with current clients. So if you're going to put up some store pictures, if you're going to put up some pictures of a staff member wearing their Christmas gear or putting out new inventory or whatever, just make sure they're authentic rather than good, right? Social media, I mean, not authentic rather than, you know, super professional and over-zhuzhed. People want to see authentic. You know, it works better on social media. So as long as it looks okay and it's genuine, that's the thing, that's the look and feel that will help you create, you know, a good post. In terms of our product marketing, obviously we've talked a lot about creating collections, as they're called in Spotify, or groups, or a product offering, right? We make more money, we get a high transaction value, which means we pay a lower bank fee per dollar, we pay, you know, lower charges per dollar, and we get a higher amount of dollar amounts, even though sometimes we sacrifice a little bit of yield on those, right? For most of us who've got a small business, collections are easier to promote than a whole website. You don't have time to go through all 500 pages on your website and all 475 products and Christmasify them, right? But you can do a set of collections, right? So they do work, and you can do a home page, you can do an About Us page, and you can do a location page. So the benefit of promotions, promoting products, is that they focus your effort, okay? And also hopefully they reward us and the client, right? As I said previously, when we do online marketing, we usually start out with wish lists back in September, and then we convert them to gift ideas. It's not too late to do a wish list, but we're pretty much in the gift idea kind of space now in terms of what to look for Christmas. But you know, it's always worth remembering that you need to write your wish lists before school holidays, you know, and have them ready to rock and roll in, you know, in other years. And I'll repeat again that you can add to deadlines, make the deadlines better with value adds like free postage, wrapping, etc., etc. But once you've actually got your product offering organized, right, you've got a good photo of that, you put a title on that tag, you've loaded it into your assets, it's got a good alt tag on it, and you've made sure that your text is Christmas tweaked and your call to action is really solid, right, then you're ready to go. But once you've done that and you create the page, the key things are a unique title, a meta description, a page name, which is an H1 title, and keywords that the customers are going to use to search for that particular product offering. When you hit publish, your work is not done, but it's nearly done, right? Is that collection that you've got there good for Dizzy Deals, or will it fit in with another QVM promotion, or is there another outlet for your particular product? Just think about where else you can push that product to. So you've hit publish, your work then begins. You now need to submit that page to Google using your Site Manager page. You now need to link that page to your social media sites. You now need to mention that content in a Google My Business post. And you need to think about a way to get that promotional offer into an email and send it out to your client. If you're doing Google Ads, look at all the words you put on the page, look at the page title and look at the title tag and think, do I need to write a new Google ad for this particular promotion? And if you do, that is fantastic, and I'd strongly encourage you to do that. The other thing that you can do is you can remarket those people using Google AdWords who clicked on the ad. So someone clicks on your ad, they come to the site, they have a look at the product and they disappear without purchasing. Google will allow you to track those people in the lead up to Christmas and serve your ad again at a slightly higher price. It's worth considering. Some of them will have bounced out because it's not the right product, but some of them, it'll just be between you and someone else who they choose. So why don't you get the sale instead of Target or Big W or Kmart or another local provider in the neighborhood? Why don't you get it either in person or online? Okay. Again, with your ad, don't set and forget your Christmas ad. It's worth tweaking or adding another ad about postage and dates and orders and wrapping, etc. Right? So, and if you've got an ad for the not sure people, talk about you know, return within 21 days and things like that. Try and build those kind of trust factors, especially if the product you're selling has got a high cost. So the higher the cost, the more security people seek in terms of trust factors, recommendations, reviews, the ability to return, things like that. So bear all those things in mind when you put a page up. There's an opportunity for a test run. If you don't like Halloween and you think it's all American, look away now. But increasingly in Australia, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which are American ideas based around Thanksgiving, work for us in terms of online sales. The opportunity for us in Australia and as traders is to bring forward some sales and get some extra income in the lead up to Christmas and clear a bit of inventory. If you think things are a little bit slow, or you've landed a product that you think, you know, oh, it's not 100% what I thought, why don't you start to get rid of it now, right?
I've got to say, I've already started getting Black Friday sale EDMs. They're already starting, so it's not too early to start.
It's not too early to start. If you're sold out by Christmas, it's not a bad thing, right? So you've got two opportunities to test things in the market, and you've got 3 to 4 weeks to plan to try and get on board with a promotion for Cyber Monday or Black Friday. So they're available through the websites and to all websites. And you can use Google Ads, you can use Facebook, you can use Instagram, and you can use your own websites, and you can use your own EDMs to have a bit of an experiment with what may or may not be working. But I would strongly encourage you to do that. So I'm going to flip back to something we also covered earlier in the year, which was that when you're a trader, it's really hard to build a marketing database, right? You're not you're not Woolworths Rewards, you're not Kmart Tires, you're not Qantas, right? And the way we do it is by using our key skills, and that is our face-to-face skills. Ask people for their mobile numbers, get people to give you their email address, ask them for likes on social media, keep asking for reviews, and make sure it's easy to do these things on your signage, your business cards, your receipts, and things like that, right? So I want you to keep working those. If someone buys something online, ask them for a review, right? If it's easier for them to sign up and review your product when they're bought in person, they'll need to know how to do that. A QR code is really useful. Having a QR code on your receipt or your business cards allows people to scan that. It opens up the page. It allows them to do a review. For every 100 people you ask, you'll probably only get one review, but you only need a few a year, right, to keep current. If you got one a month, you'd be smashing it, because whoever looks at your site is going to see something from December 2022 or November 2022. And if they see something from September, October, November 22, they know that your reviews are good. So keep asking. For a lot of people who take orders, the SMS works really well. Right? I know there are a number of food traders in the market who use the SMS to get people to call up and place their Christmas orders. Don't underestimate it. It depends on what business that you're in. Email address for fruit and veg, the reminders being sent out for closing dates works really, really well.
Peter, I've got a question.
Sure.
We get lots of product reviews, but they aren't doing Google reviews. Does that still work? We have QR codes on packing slips. So I guess the question is, we get lots of product reviews, but they aren't doing Google reviews. Does that still work?
Yeah, it does, as long as you share them, right? So there's usually a plug-in to a website to all of those things like Trustpilot where you can share those reviews. Right? The main thing to do is to make sure those reviews are genuine. If you're getting the reviews and the reviews are coming in, right, the main thing is you've got to respect people's privacy. You can screenshot them and you can cut out their surname, right? Or you can cut out their first name, or if it's got their phone number, make sure you blank it out, or you just blur it out. Or if it's got their email address, make sure you blur out some of the details, because you don't want Lily Acosta from Greenvale to be that identified, right? You can still say Lily from Greenvale, right? So the main thing to do is collect those reviews, and even if they're in a graphical point of view, you can copy them into text and you can place them in a website, or you can screenshot them and tell the customer what the source is.
So the next question, so you can use them in social posts, and yes, you can use them in social posts.
You can use those reviews as long as you don't, think about what it would be like for yourself. You don't want to disclose you're having your full name and details disclosed all over the internet without your permission, right? But if you've got a genuine review and you can show that that's a genuine review and you've got a copy of the original review, then by all means, milk it. The person's taken the time to write back, but don't put Lily's full name and suburb, because someone's going to know it. You've always got to err on the side of truth, and you've always got to err on the side of privacy when you do that.
Yeah.
So my main point was, we talked about how to build your database in a really tiny size business and as a trader, and the way to do it is to ask people and make it easy for them. And that means asking for the review, making sure there's access to reviews are everywhere, on your receipts, on your order forms, on your business cards, on your signage, so people can actually do a review. And if you have a great interaction with someone, just say, if you've got time, it'd be fantastic if you could leave me a like or a review on any of our assets. It'd be great again to see you again next year. Have a great Christmas. We all do it, right? It's part of some hospitality training in certain businesses. So we covered it early in the year. It was just there as a reminder. So I know that I've whizzed through this and it's been 45 minutes of me talking at speed, right? But just in terms of summary, where are you and how do I find you, right? If we don't know where you are in the market and we don't know how to find you, then you need to address that problem most urgently. And that needs to make sure that that's on your website, on your cards, on your social media, you know, on your Google My Business. Is it all up to date? Have you looked at your QVM listing? Is it up to date, right? Can you put yourself into Google Maps and see if you can find me, right? How's the seasonal attitude? And do the staff look like it's Christmas? What can you do? If you work somewhere messy, like fruit and veg, you can go an apron, you can go a hat, you can go a tinsel band. You can also ask your staff to wear a green, white or red t-shirt or to mix up those colors, right? How does the store look like? What's the minimum you can do to Christmasify your store? There is always something, right? Do it. Next, I want to think about what's the offer, okay? And that comes down to the bottom points, is why should someone buy from you, especially if there's other people selling your product, because you're friendly, because it looks good, it has the right vibe, it's easy to pay, you've got multiple payment systems, and the price is right. Or maybe they're going to buy from you because the offer is good and it's mixed up with something else, you know. And if I buy a bit of this, I can also get a bit of that, or it's a good idea, they come together, right? So in terms of your online assets, can I look at your online digital assets and know that it's Christmas? Yeah. And that is your socials as well as your website. Take a little bit of time, have a look at them, and just say to yourself, what do I do to show my clients that I know it's Christmas? Okay? Do my clients know the trading hours and the dates, right? Do my clients know what the deadlines are? Yep. Right. Who knows what the deadlines are for picking up oysters or picking up fresh barramundi or getting, you know, getting a meats platter from Luigi or Bill or any of the others in the deli counter, right? So clients need to know that. You can help them. It's a service. Why me? Why my store, right? And how do I look? That's really what I want you to do, is just take a step back, take a look at the business, decide how much time and effort you want to put in, and do something for Christmas, either in person and online, or just in person. An attitude is free, and like I said, a Santa hat is $2. So, and it's never too late to start. That's the most important thing. So hopefully it won't feel like winter in a couple of days, and the Christmas vibe will be back with the 26 degrees that we've got forecast for next weekend. So I'd just like to say thank you again to Madalen for the opportunity, but also thank you to Madalen for zhuzhing up my slides, which actually weren't very Christmassy, and so I wasn't taking my own advice. So thank you, Madalen, for stepping in there and putting me on a Christmas theme.
It's a pleasure. Can you just go to the next slide for us, Peter?
Sure. Okay. Right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? No, we don't have any further questions. I guess, you know, what's really comes through in this is that number one is keep it simple. Woo the buyer, make it rewarding for both the customer and yourself. Dress up your store and make it look Christmassy. It doesn't have to cost much. You can do it on a small budget. Dress up your homepage on the website if you have one, even on Google My Business post, your EDM email that goes out, and social media posts. Give them all a Christmas touch. It's never too late to start, and at this point in time it's not too early to start. We're wrapping up, we're extending to December, so we'll have another session to wrap up on the 7th of December, which is the first Wednesday of the month. Once again, thank you, Peter, great session, and we look forward to seeing you in December.
I'll have a Christmas hat on and I'll make sure there's some tinsel behind me, all right?
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Madalen. Thank you.